And hello, everyone. Welcome to another power scanning session. It is May 31st, 2025. And once again, today we are going to be on the lookout for the most interesting swing trading setups for the week ahead. My name is Daniel. I am greeting you today from our beautiful office here in Montreal, in Canada. And before we get into it, let me ask you, where are you guys calling in from? Who do we have in the room today? Please put your location into the Q&A box. Who do we have? Mark from Birmingham, Alabama. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Aubrey from not so sunny Cyprus. Oh boy, it seems to be raining there. Who knew? Who knew it could rain in Cyprus? Ron from Utah. Hey, Ron, how's it going? Dave from Florida. Hey, Dave, how's it going? Deech from Calgary. Hey there. I've been to Calgary a few times. Nice place. Larry from Minneapolis. Hey, Larry. Greg from Sacramento. Hey there. John from sunny Austin, Texas. Oh, that's nice. Paul from Atlanta. Thomas from the Black Forest in Germany. All right. Yeah, Black Forest, exactly. Jim from Chicago. All right. Wow. Well, once again, international crowds. We have Germany, we have Cyprus, we have the US, you have Canada. Who else do we have? Diego from Mexico City. Wow. Mexico City is a very nice place to. I've been a couple of times. And Moshi from the Alcatraz state. Is that, I guess it's San Francisco, isn't it? All right. Perfect. Thanks, guys, for sharing your location. Let's get into it. All right. So today we are going to, we will be searching for what's called a swing trade. So it's not going to be a day trade where we're going to open and close the trade within the same day. It's also not going to be a long-term investment where we're going to hold a position perhaps forever or for 20 years or multiple years. No, it's going to be about swing trades, something in the middle. And, on average, the duration is something between 2 to 20 weeks. And the beautiful thing is what I'm going to show you today is something, once you get the hang of it, that you can do in just a couple of minutes. And, we coined the term the 30 minutes Sunday strategy. And the idea is that, on Sunday, when the weekend is winding down, you sit down, you open up our dashboard, you enter your criteria, and within 30 minutes, you can find the most interesting setups for the week ahead when the market opens on Monday morning. All right, so how this all works, we're going to discover it today. And of course, for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, and if you do, please put a number 1 into the Q&A box. I can give you a personal welcome from us here at Trading Indicators. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are tradingindicators.com. My name is Daniel here on the left-hand side. And about 10 years ago, we have created Trading Indicators with the mission of building innovative, as the name suggests, trading indicators. But we have grown over the years, and now we not only build trading indicators, but also fully automated strategies, trading tools, but also trading scanners. And one such trading scanner we will be using today. As you will see, it's a scanner which is primarily geared towards what's called technical analysis. We believe that fundamentals oftentimes are almost immediately priced in. And by looking at your price chart from a technical point of view, you will indirectly also take into account your fundamental information. We also believe that trading should be simple. And in fact, trading is simple, but you need to know what to look for and what we are considering as important on the price chart and which criteria we are looking for finding the most interesting setups. That's going to be the topic of today. And last but not least, if you have any questions, please don't be shy. Put your questions into the Q&A box, and we're going to get to those as we proceed through this webinar. And I'm happy to say we do have 3 new users today in the chat in our room here. Greg, Pia, and David. So all 3 of you, welcome to our trading community. It's really nice to have you on board. I hope we are going to make it worth your while. All right, with this, let's get into it. A quick reminder that trading does, of course, contain risk and therefore should or may not be suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and setups and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. Okay, so with this out of the way, a couple of housekeeping items. First off, we have, or in today's webinar, I should say, we are going to cover a couple of the features that our dashboard, which is called Liquidity View, offers. If you want to know about all the different features, all the different bells and whistles which are built in, please check out our bootcamp at tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. And Niklas will put this link into the chat box as well. So tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. Also, and especially for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, we do offer also a free Discord channel. We call this Discord 2.0 because it is our second attempt of creating a successful Discord channel. Check it out at tradingindicators.com/Discord, completely free. And if you do, let me just quickly go over to our Discord channel just to show you what you can expect. You, for example, get our trading talk channel here, where we post interesting trade setups, oftentimes for day trading, but also sometimes for swing trading. You can exchange with other traders. You get automated trade alerts for different trading styles and so forth. So please check it out. Join us on our Discord channel. All right, so that's Discord. Moving on. Today, we will be using our scanning tool, which is called Liquidity View. As you'll see, it's a browser-based tool. It's very easy to use. And ideally, I want you to follow along interactively, basically replicating what will be entering into the dashboard, into our filter criteria yourself as well. So if you want to do this, it's not too late. So even if you are not a subscriber, you can subscribe right now to our dashboard by simply going to tradingindicators.com/view. And best of all, the first week is completely free. So you will not be charged. You will get instant access to the dashboard. This is really a very fast process. It takes perhaps a minute, and then you can follow along. All right, so it's tradingindicators.com/view to take advantage of this opportunity. And last but not least, we do have an ebook. It's completely free, available for you guys, where we detail the three main setups that we will be covering today. It's called the Power of Three, because there are three setups in that ebook, and it's completely free. And the link is also in the chat. You can see it here as well. So tradingindicators.com/power of three to get a free copy of this ebook. Lastly, if you have any suggestions, as I mentioned, if you have any questions or feedback or perhaps recommendations for our dashboard, please don't hold back. The more the merrier. And most of the features right now on the dashboard, it's already driven by your feedback, by your ideas. Please keep them coming. Don't be shy. The more ideas we get, the more features we can integrate into the dashboard to make this a truly valuable tool to all of us. All right, so let's start with the market review. And I guess the headline of last week was, well, we are basically exactly where we started off. So not much has happened. I guess it was a short week. We had Memorial Day on Monday. So markets were kind of slowish, not much volatility. And basically the same questions that we were asking, I guess last weekend, they still, at least to some degree, apply today. What do I mean by this? Well, let's check out the markets. So I'm going to switch over to our beautiful dashboard. And let's start with the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF. All right, so I'm going to open it up. And what do we see here? Well, we discussed last week, and this is, well, actually, maybe not last week, but a bit earlier even, that we do have this big up gap here. So this happened, I think, about 2 weeks ago. We gapped up over the weekend and prices opened up above this former resistance level, which is now acting as support. You see this little blue line here? I drew this in manually, but this is basically an extension of what our indicator drew on the chart a while back. So this level here was acting as resistance. We gapped above it. And since we did this, we basically broke resistance. And since that point on, this level is acting as support. You can see it here. We did attempt to go down a little bit, Support was holding. This was on Friday. And then we jumped up on Monday and basically spent the entire week in a very tight range. You can see these little 4 bars. These are the bars of last week, so nothing really has happened. But the questions that we were asking ourselves last weekend, they still apply today very much. Question number 1 is, well, are we going to hold this level? In other words, are we going to stay above this support level? If we do, I think a new all-time high in the SPY is only a question of time. It's going to happen relatively soon. But this is not guaranteed because we may see an attempt to test this gap here. So I'm a big fan of looking at these gaps. These oftentimes, or gaps oftentimes tend to get filled or tested. And if we want to test or fill this gap, what needs to happen? Well, price needs to come down at least to this level, which would mean we are breaking support. Support once again will change its role, will become resistance, and this may lead to another leg further down, even perhaps so as far as this level here at 510. This is still in the books. It's not completely out of the picture. I personally tend to think that, well, all-time highs are more likely, but this scenario is still very much on the picture. And I was hoping that we're going to get some clarity this week as to what is going to happen, but then prices were completely sideways. So it's going to be postponed. This decision is going to be postponed for the week ahead. So decision time, a bit postponed. If we hold this level, I think all-time highs are on the picture. If not, then I think a deeper correction is also not unlikely. All right, so this was the SPY, but what about the QQQ? Well, as oftentimes, the QQQ pretty much mirrors the SPY or vice versa, pretty much the exact same scenario. We have this big gap here. You see it here. This is a gap which may get tested. If this gap were to get tested, then we need to break below this support level, which used to be resistance, but since it was broken, it now changed rules to support. And if we do, we may see a deeper correction. But if we can stay above this level, I think, once again, just with the SPY, all-time highs are very much in the near-term picture for the QQQs as well. But once again, we need to see. I was hoping for more clarity this week. I guess it was a short week. Not much happening there. But we'll see next week. It's going to be a full week. And we'll see where we're going to go. We let the market decide what is going to happen. Perfect. Okay, so moving on. Gold. All right. Okay, so gold is interesting too, and I'm going to explain to you why. Of course, gold is bullish. We knew this, but there are some signs that maybe what we've seen so far, and the fact that we basically failed to make another highest high here, maybe that's a sign that we will see a bit of a deeper reversion in gold. We're still super bullish, of course. Look at this. It's a very beautiful uptrend in gold. But now for the first time, we're seeing this formation here where we have lower highs and lower lows. And this is kind of a descending trend channel where we are in right now. Of course, we are still in the upper half of it. And yeah, as long as we stay here and as long as we don't break this trend channel to the downside, I will stay bullish in gold. But just be aware of it that we may see another retracement down. If we can hold it, perhaps this would be a great long opportunity in gold. But for example, getting long right now, I would find a little bit dangerous because we may bounce off this upper channel here. And of course, we also have resistance up here, which could lead to a deeper correction, which could be even as far. I should enable my annotation tool here. Just a second. Yeah, you see these gaps here, which also happen along the line in gold. Yeah, there's a gap there and another gap there, and then even one below that. So these gaps, they may get tested. And if they do, we may see a correction all the way down here, even perhaps down to this support level. It would not be unheard of course. And of course, this could be a great opportunity to potentially enter into a gold trade. A similar scenario we had it here. You see this one here, a higher high, a lower high, and potentially or sideways high here. And this was a deeper correction towards this former support level. You can see it here. We may see the same thing here, just to a bigger extent. It is not out of the picture. But of course, overall, gold is bullish. Let's not fool ourselves. I just would not enter right now into a long trade in gold. Okay, what about oil? The United States Oil Fund, an ETF that we like to use for this purpose. What's going on here? Well, hanging on to dear life, or as the option professor would say, we are kind of stuck in this lower extreme of the sideways channel, which were pretty good opportunities in the past to enter long here for a little smaller swing trade, anticipating a bounce off the support level towards the middle, in between support and resistance. We had it here, we had it here, and now we are at this support level. You can see this little red zone here. That's the support level. But would I go long here? I don't know. It seems to be I don't like the fact that we are sticking so long in this area. I mean, we had it here before where prices really stuck it out long in a certain area. But I would be careful. I would not be surprised potentially to see this support level here break and perhaps a move towards this support level, this lower line here, or even to these swing lows. So I would be a bit careful with oil. It's hanging out for dear life. It seems like to me it feels bearish. It feels like this level may not hold. We'll see what happens also next week. And one more. What about Bitcoin? Okay, so everybody was so optimistic for Bitcoin. We're gonna take off, and 150 is just a matter of time, but it did not happen yet. Why yet? Well, there were reasons to be very optimistic or last week, in fact, where we broke above this resistance level. You can see it here. This was resistance. Price clearly broke above this level, but couldn't clear it. I believe maybe with I guess we had one candle which was completely cleared above, but we immediately retraced down. So to me, at least in my book, this level is still very much in play. And as you can see it here, and of course hindsight is always 2020, we did bounce off this resistance level now towards lower levels. Does it mean we're going to see a full reversion all the way down to here? I doubt it, but a reversion towards the first line of MA rush here. You can see this little green line here, which is our trend indicator. Let me just highlight this a little bit. See this indicator here, which is just enabled or disabled? The first line in there, this could actually act as dynamic support, and prices may retrace all the way perhaps down to this level to 100,000, maybe 101,000, depending on if this continues to go up, and then we'll see another attempt at all-time highs in Bitcoin. By the way, a similar thing has happened in gold. Let me just quickly go back to gold just to show you what I mean by this. So GLD, the gold ETF, also here, picture perfect. Yeah, a retracement all the way down to this first MA rush line, and then we saw the bounce. I would not be surprised to see something similar happening in Bitcoin. Of course, our outlook for Bitcoin is very bullish. Let me just quickly go back to it. And I think it's just a matter of time until when we break above this level. But I think waiting a bit longer and then potentially maybe adding to a position when we get to this $100,000 level could not be a bad idea. So here, it definitely looks a bit bullish. This week was very bearish. Every day was a down bar in Bitcoin. So I think this may continue a bit longer. All right. So so this basically concludes our market overview. Do we have any questions so far, Nicholas, which I can address before we move on?
No, Daniel, maybe one's going to come in now, but you're all good.
Perfect. Okay. And just a reminder, guys, if you have questions, please don't be shy. Put those into the Q&A box. Also, symbol requests are more than welcome. And of course, we're going to have a symbol roundtable towards the end of this presentation. All right. Now, let me go back to my slides because
So
the
we do have
main
a
reason.
question, Daniel, now, sorry, just before you go on from Dej. How does this scanner work with day trading and scalping? What's the relationship between the scanner and the support and resistance indicator from the ebook? And where can I find videos for the application of your indicators to longer term trading? So the first question is, how is it for day trading and scalping, the scanner?
Yeah, so this scanner is designed for swing trading. That's the purpose of it. So you will find nice swing trading setups and also longer term investments with this scanner. It is not designed for day trading. But if you're interested in day trading, I would recommend checking out our Discord channel to see how we use these individual indicators and some other ones to identify interesting day trades. This is really something that we do in our trading room throughout the week. The focus today is mainly on swing trading, and this is what this scanner is designed for to do. And what was the other question?
The other question, so there's two other ones. One other one was, how do I find videos for your indicators on lower time frame trading, so like day trading?
Yeah.
And so we talk about that in our Tuesday events, and also I'm going to put some links for our latest trading session, which I think are good for that.
Perfect. Thanks for that.
And the last question, Daniel, was what's the relationship between Liquidity IQ and this dashboard?
Yeah, it's the dashboard uses Liquidity IQ. You can see it's actually on the chart. Right there. So MA Rush is the first indicator, but the second one is Liquidity IQ. It is on the chart. And don't look at these drawings. These are my manual drawings, but Liquidity IQ is an indicator designed to detect strong resistance and support levels. You can see this here, these little red areas. These are resistance and support levels. And it's quite accurate in the way it does it, you can see how beautifully, for example, Bitcoin bounced off the support level, or bounced off this resistance level, and also here bounced off this resistance level. So knowing where these levels are and knowing where price is in relation to these levels is super important for trading. And now the real power of the dashboard comes in with the scanner, which we're going to use right now, because using the scanner, we can scan for setups where, for example, price is right near a resistance level or right near a support level. And if other factors come together with this, then we can find really powerful swing trading setups. All right.
Okay, Daniel, on the last were simple requests. We'll get to that later. And no, Greg, you cannot place third orders directly from the dashboard.
Yeah, that's something we might at some point consider, but right now it's not possible. Exactly. All right. So moving on, what are these setups? Oh, actually, the main purpose of today's session is, of course, to find interesting setups. And what we're going to do is actually we have a small process in play here. We're going to be focusing on one setup at a time. And we typically look at 3 different setups for this. Then based on what we find interesting, we will create a so-called hot list, a little short list of symbols which are of interest. And then at the end, we are going to go through this hot list one by one to find the most interesting candidates, the one that should get all our attention. You'll see this because I'm talking a lot. This is a bit not lengthy. It takes maybe 30, maybe 25 minutes to do so. But once you get the hang of it, you can do this entire process, I promise you, in less than 10 minutes. So I'm going to do it slowly, step by step, so you can follow along. But once, again, you get the hang of it, this can be done much faster. So what are these setups that we actually going to be focusing on today? Well, we're going to be looking at a bounce setup together with a healthy pullback, a zone break setup, and a zone break retrace setup. And as you will see, all of these are high probability setups where our reward to risk ratio is very much in our favor. What do I mean by this? Let's start with a healthy pullback. What is that? Well, in a trend, any trend, I promise you, there's no trend in the world which goes up in a straight line. That's impossible. Even the longest term trend, or the most stable trend, will eventually take a pause and retrace and correct a little bit. And these are key opportunities to enter actually into the direction of the trend. You don't want to enter up here where things are super extended, because you're going to get a bad price and your stop loss will be fairly far away. You want to enter when we have these retracements down to lower levels. We have an indicator designed to do this. It's called Trend Radar. I will show you directly on the price chart, but you can also scan for it. We're going to be doing this in a second, whether we are currently seeing a healthy pullback. So a healthy pullback is a pullback which is just deep enough to qualify as healthy. So it's not a complete reversal of a trend and therefore presenting to us a very interesting long entry opportunity, especially if this pullback coincides, this is where the second setup comes in, with a key support level. Because then we have 3 things in our favor. Number 1, we are in a long-term trend. And as we know, the trend is your friend. Chances are the trend will continue, or the higher that the trend will continue rather than reversing. So we're in the long-term trend. Secondly, we are seeing a healthy pullback, which is just a normal thing within a trend. It's completely normal. And thirdly, we are nearing a key support level. Now, having all these things flagged is quite a rare setup. We'll see it now in a second why that is. So let me enter these 3 criteria into our dashboard. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and I'm going to be starting entering the criteria. So criteria number 1, we need to be bullish. For this, our MA rush indicator, the one you see on the chart, here comes in. So let me just show you what this indicator does for those of you who are new. Make this a little bit bigger. It will draw, if I can find it, which symbol is it? Bitcoin. Okay. If they draw these labels onto the chart, bull, or before this, bearish. Just find one here. There, bearish and bullish. And depending on what the last label was, we are either in an upwards trend, a bullish trend, or in a bearish trend. Okay, so now we can scan for this. So for example, using this MA rush column here, we could click on the little filter icon right next to it and say, hey, scanner, instead of showing me all 5,000 stocks which you're currently scanning through, only show me those symbols which are currently bullish. All right, let's do it. Click on bullish here. And once this is done, you can see this updates almost immediately. We will see that, wow, that's interesting. 2,000 of our 5,000 stocks are currently bullish. That's less than 50%. Now, of course, we also scan through symbols like cryptos and FX and so forth, but still, this is something which is a little bit concerning, that some individual stocks, they have turned around a lot. Now, this value used to be at least 50%, even a bit more of our entire symbol universe. Now it's less. Okay. Nonetheless, so 2,000 of our 5,000 symbols are currently bullish. We can see it here. For example, if I click on the first one here or the second one, AAON, Aeon Inc., even though we had a bit of a retracement, if we look back, you can see this stock is bullish, the bull label here. We also see that we have been bullish for quite some time. And if you look at this number here, we have been bullish for this stock exactly for 636 trading days. This is what this number indicates. All right, so this was our first criteria. Criteria number 2 is we want to be near a key support level. Now, for this stock, for example, we're not nowhere near a key support level. We're actually right in the middle, in between support here and resistance on top. So nowhere near there. But we can enter this into the scanner as well. And for this, our liquidity IQ indicator comes in. This one here, which draws these key support levels onto the chart. And we have a column here in our scanner called Liquidity IQ Setup. We can click on it and we'll select long bounce. Why long bounce? Because we may bounce off to the long side. And this can only happen at a support level. So once I do this, we see all the stocks which are currently trading near support level and which are bullish. 69 stocks only qualify for these criteria. Wow. An example, this one here, Coca-Cola bought Cons, I think a supplier or distributor for Coca-Cola or related products. You can see it here. Long-term uptrend for 1,181 trading days. This stock is rising. But right now, we see a correction all the way down to this key support level. Do you see it here? To me, in fact, this is a really interesting candidate for a long trade. Because after the all-time highs here from February 13 or 14, we saw a deeper correction all the way down to this key support level. As indicated by our indicator, and this could be a great opportunity to enter long in the anticipation that this consolidation phase is eventually going to resolve and our long-term uptrend will continue. So in fact, we're going to enter this symbol as our first symbol into our hot list for the most interesting setup. So for this, I'm going to enter or create a new watch list. Click create here. I give it a nice name like setups, 2025. 05/31st, today's date. I create this watch list and I will add this watch list to our list. Done. All right, this has been done. And this is an interesting setup. And I found this actually not just randomly, because you may say, hey, you just picked randomly a stock out of these 69 stocks. No, I found this because I looked at this number here. And I saw, hey, this stock is really, really long-term bullish for 1,181 trading days. These are trading days. Where the market is actually open. So this is like 5 or 6 years. This stock has been going up nonstop without any rush, our trend indicator changing its mind. That's really long. And here, and I believe, in fact, the longer a trend is, the greater the chances are that this trend will continue. Because the longer it holds on, the more established the trend is. And now what you can do, look at this, you can sort actually by clicking on this column by trend duration. For example, in this case, from highest to lowest, or also from lowest to highest if you want to. I prefer highest to lowest. And then what I do, I go through these symbols from the top to the bottom. And the first one actually, even before Coca-Cola bought Cons, is a well-known stock to us, at least, Eli Lilly. We actually pointed this out last week already as a very interesting setup. Not much has happened, but the setup is still very much valid, where also this stock is near a key support level. It's in a long-term uptrend. Huge trend up. We see a correctional phase here. Things are sideways, but this can indeed be a nice opportunity to enter long here in the anticipation that prices will bounce off the support level towards the middle, in between support and resistance at least. What I also like about this one is that the distance between support down here and resistance up here, that's quite a lot. That's a big distance, meaning we do have a lot of room for this trade. So even if we close out our position when things go halfway towards the middle here, that's still a sizable trade. where we can book a sizable profit if things pan out the way we anticipate them to do. So also Eli Lilly definitely is going to be on our horizon for the week ahead. So I'm going to add this one as well to our list here. Next one, Targa Resources, TRGP. And you can see also this one, again, I said it was a slow week last week. Not that much has changed, but what we called out last week, first of all, also this stock is in a long-term uptrend. You can see it here. We are near a key support level. And in fact, maybe what I should do, just to clarify things a little bit for the newcomers, I should enable the labels for support and resistance. You can see it here now. They're called out. This is a support zone here. This is a resistance level. And also Targa Resources now is at a prime position. In fact, I'd love it to come down a bit lower even for a bounce off this level. And you know what I really like about this one? Is the following. Let me just drag this away just for a second. This was manually drawn last week. Look what you see right here. Do you see this little shaded area? And in fact, I'm going to also enable the label for this one. Sometimes I disable these labels just to keep my chart a bit cleaner. But let me enable those. Where is it? Here. All right. Look what's written there. Let me drag this out a little bit. Liquidity capture at this key level. I really, really like the setup. Why? Here's why. A liquidity capture is a candle. This happened to be on Friday when prices just wicked down to this level here. It's a candle which happens near a support level or also sometimes near a resistance level where the volume of this candle is exceptionally high. So what could this mean? Well, it's up for interpretation, but our interpretation is, okay, something is going on here. Price has dropped down and corrected towards this key support level, and now volume is spiking up. And one could look at this by saying, hey, potentially big buyers, maybe big block orders are stepping in, preventing price from moving further down and instead reversing it towards the middle in between support and resistance. So I really like this one. And in fact, I think this is going to be, well, we'll see what happens on Monday, but when we announce our trade of the week on Monday evening, we always like to wait until the market at least opens. This may as well become our trade of the week. I really, really like the setup. All right. So Targa Resources, I will add it as well to our watch list. All right. There we go. Post Holdings is the next one. All right. Bullish for 1,099 trading days. Let's have a look. What's going on here? Let me just drag this in a little bit. It's a bit bigger. All right. There we go. So for this one, you can see also here in an uptrend, we are correcting right now. Also, once again, we are near a support level. I like it too. I also like the fact that we do have a liquidity capture in our last bar. But what I don't like about this setup here is that this support level, you can see it here, this zone has been broken in the past. So it broke here, it broke here. This to me is a sign of weakness of this level, and I'm not too convinced that this one will hold moving forward. So even though overall I like this stock a lot, it's a really a bullish stock. I'm not convinced that this level will hold, and potentially we may see even a deeper correction all the way down to this level. So here I would just stay on the sidelines for now. I'm not engaging into this trade. Perhaps one more, and I hope you guys can see how this works, how easy it is to find these setups. SKT, Tanger Factory Outlet Centers. All right, and by the way, if you sometimes were wondering what is a particular stock all about, you can click on this little info icon here to read up on it. So Tanger Inc. is the leading owner and operator of outlet and open air retail shopping destinations. Woo. All right, now you know. I guess you could have tell from the name as well, but at least you get some confirmation here. And just real quick, since we're on this topic, you can also see, hey, in which sector is this particular stock located? In this case, real estate and retail. All right, now you know. Perfect. And also here we do see, once again, also for this one, we are actually exactly at this key support level. We already had a liquidity capture early on when we are just a bit lower. You can see it here. You can see it here, and you can see how nicely price bounced off from it. I do like this stock as well. It's definitely going to be one for our hot list as well. Looking for a bounce towards the middle in between support and resistance. So I'm going to add this one as well. All right. So you can just go through this list step by step, just the same way I have done it. But remember, I wanted to add one more criteria to the mix, which is I also wanted to see whether this stock, whether this trend is considered right now. Let me just quickly go back to where are my slides? Come on. There we go. Whether we are also currently in a healthy pullback state. You can see this one here, where the retracement within the uptrend is shallow enough to still be considered a healthy pullback. This is quite rare because oftentimes, especially after a long move up, we see a deeper pullback, which we would not call healthy anymore. And why do we actually say healthy pullback? Because the first 4 rows here for a trend radar indicator, you may have seen it on the chart, they've turned red, which means they shifted from bullish to bearish. And these rows are sorted by trend duration, like short-term trend, medium-term trend, and long-term trend. So what this would mean, for example, is that the long-term trend, as per our trend radar indicator, is still bullish, but the short-term trends and medium-term trends, they have turned bearish. And as long as this stays limited to the first 4 levels, we call this a healthy pullback. All right. So how can we scan for this? For example, for this one, here you see it went all the way down to the last row. That's not a really healthy pullback anymore. So we can scan for those scenarios by going to this pullback column here and entering level 4 healthy pullback, for example, to find those stocks where, let's click on this one here, the coffee futures, actually this spiked my eye early on today. They are definitely in a long-term uptrend because that's a futures contract. You may not want to do a swing trade on futures, but it's interesting to see. And also here we are, long-term uptrend. We are nearing support down here and trend radar here. You see it here? Level 1, 2, 3, 4 are currently reddish, meaning the term shifted from bullish to bearish, but the long-term trend is still green. And what's also really cool is look how many times this happened in the past. And every single time, this correction has been bought up for this particular symbol. Here, 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 and so forth. This is where great opportunities to enter into this long-term uptrend. All right, so what's the other one? This is coffee futures. So as I said, maybe not the best one to trade for swing trading. Or this one here, Trilogy Metals. Yeah, no, it's a very cheap stock, so also really not my cup of tea. But the same idea: long-term bullish. We are nearing a support level, and we have a level 4 pullback, which is still considered healthy. All right, and by the way, these scan results, these are updating every single trading day. Of course, now it's the weekend, the markets are closed, but as soon as Monday, we go through Monday evening, we will have new setups. So these update every single day. So you don't have to wait for the weekend. This is what I wanted to say, to find new setups. All right, so this was our first setup. Do we have any questions, Niklas?
Yeah, we have a couple questions. So I think you were looking at MSCI before. No, sorry, you weren't. But Diego's comment was, I guess MSCI, I'm not sure exactly, is an investment firm, but he said on Friday, the volume that you saw for the liquidity captures on Friday might just be useless noise due to ETF rebalancings. I don't think it's a stock he was talking about for MSCI.
Okay. It could be. That's a good point. So you should always look, double check of what is really going on. And it was the end of the month window dressing, and as you said, rebouncing may be a reason for increased volume. Yeah, this is something we would look at once we do our due diligence before actually executing a trade. But yeah, thanks for that.
And the next question is from John. What's the lowest time frame Liquidity IQ is good for? Something like can you put it on the 1 minute, or range bars?
Yeah. We trade them all the time. We do our day trading. Of course, today is about swing trading. We do use them all the time on a lower time frame. For example, the 5-minute time frame is something I really enjoy using. And you can see it here. This is the Liquidity IQ. We have these beautiful zone break retrace setups, for example, something that we use a lot, or if you use them on MNQ from the futures, you can see how nicely it prints support and resistance levels. The price evolves around. One trade we actually called out in our Discord, and I don't want to digress too much to day trading today, is micro natural gas, MNG. There we go. Also called the widow maker sometimes because it's been quite volatile. But you can see how nicely these levels, support and resistance, are holding up at times. So yeah, we do use them all the time in day trading. So these indicators work for day trading and swing trading alike.
Perfect. And thank you, Diego, for clarifying about MSCI as an index. And then Brian says he's seeing a big advantage from the stacked signals from Trend Radar. Is there any way to screen for that in the
Yeah.
scanner?
Oh yeah, that's possible too. Look at this. This column is not enabled right now, and this is why I said in the beginning. Today we're gonna use some of the features for our dashboard, but there are so many more built in. So for example, we do have a column called, where is it? Trends aligned, this one here. That's an awkward name. Maybe we should change that name at some point. I have to actually look for it myself. But this column, once it's enabled, let me just maybe disable the industry sector real quick. We also have dividend information in there, for example, earnings dates and so forth. But let me just disable this, and you can see it now here. So this is. Let me just actually find something which let me go to gold to explain this a little bit first. What is meant by this? And thanks for the question. So look at what you see here by this indicator at the bottom. This is our trend radar indicator. It's a great indicator for seeing what's going on right now in the market and whether we currently have a healthy pullback, for example, within a strong trend, or whether a trend is currently extended or still considered to be extended. So you can see all this. And now look at this little dot here that you can see in the last row. This is an indication that all the moving averages that this indicator uses to determine what's going on for the short-term trend, the medium-term trends, and the long-term trends, these are stacked, meaning they are sorted, where the fastest MA is above the second fastest CA, which is above the medium MA, which is above the slowest MA, and so forth. So they're all stacked and sorted. Sometimes this can be an indication of trend strength. You can see it here, how long this can be, or also a little bit of a warning sign that things are overextended. Because if everything is sorted, everything's going only in one direction, maybe a pullback is about to happen. So it can be seen both ways. But what I wanted to say is you can scan for this actually. Look at this this value here, trends align. There's a number written in here. This is the number of dots consecutively since the last candle. So for example, this one here, 6 for Apple. Oh, interestingly, Apple, you can see it's been going down, and our MAs are stacked to the downside, where the fastest MA is below the second fastest one, and so forth. This is stacking to the downside because Apple is kind of, retracing to the downside right now. And then what you can do is you can sort. Perhaps you want to focus on the ones which are bullish. You filter by bullish, and you sort by duration. The first one that comes up is, for example, this one here, Okra Acquisition Corp. I'm curious what's happening here. Maybe this one, yeah, this one has some data problems. I'm gonna skip this one. Sometimes, these very extreme ones, the data is not correct. But this one here, the next one, First Capital Inc., 78 days stacked. If you count these dots, you're gonna get to 78, and it's just a very steady uptrend without any big pullbacks. So all the MAs which track these trends from a short-term, medium-term, and long-term perspectives, these are still ordered. So you can sort it by this. Sorry for the lengthy explanation. But yes, this is possible and much, much more. And this is why we have to record the bootcamp exactly on this topic.
Thanks, Daniel.
All right. Yeah. Can we move on to the next criteria? Yep. Perfect, because the best is still to come. I'm not just saying this, but you will see in a second, because there will be some really interesting setups coming. So we looked at the bounce setup and the healthy pullback. Now let's talk about zone break and zone break retrace. Well, like in life, also in trading, at some point everything comes to an end. So every support zone will eventually be broken to the downside, and every resistance zone most likely will be broken to the upside. But when this happens, also new opportunities are opening up for us. Why? Let's look at this picture here. So here we have a classic support zone break. Price went below this red line, which is a support level. Well, when this happens, oftentimes we see a nice follow through in the direction of the breakout. And of course, as traders, you can imagine how you could take advantage of such a setup. Just simply bet on the fact, or perhaps engage into a short trade, or we buy some put options, betting on the fact or anticipating that that price will continue in the direction of the breakout for quite some time. But one thing to consider, and it's a kind of a big but. Oftentimes, what we see is that we see an initial correction towards the broken level. So we broke support. Once support is broken, it will react, or it will act as resistance as changes rules. And price initially went down, but then corrected back up towards this broken level, which is now acting as resistance. So this is what we see often in the market. And then the real move continues. Here another example. A break of resistance. Price initially goes up, but then retraces and corrects back down to the broken resistance level, which is now acting as support. And then the real move happens. We call this the zone break retrace setup. It's a really powerful one. Why? Because we already waited out this initial faker of the market, and then the real move happens. One of our favorite setups. So how can we find these ones? Well, really easy. Clear out the filters and simply go to our Liquidity IQ setup column here and select long break retrace. Look what happens when I do this. From our almost 5,000 stocks, once I do this, only 8 stocks qualified for this setup. But these are really interesting one. Let's have a look. Okay, so we have these stocks, and what I also like to do is I like to sort by trend duration. So focusing on the stock which are in an uptrend for the longest. First one that comes up, Banco Bilbao from Argentina, BBVA. Yeah, I guess a stock in the financial sector from Argentina. But what do we see here? Let's check it out. All right, so let me just actually quickly remove one thing from the chart so it's a bit clearer. Okay, we can see it here. We broke above resistance exactly at this point on May 14. Break above resistance, went up, and then back towards the broken resistance level, which is now acting as support. This is a long-term bullish stock. You can see it here. Yes, Argentina is a market which is recovering after the problems that they're having there. So bullish, long-term bullish. Since this point on here, things are going upwards. Now a retracement, and this, I believe, could be a great opportunity to enter long for this particular stock. Especially also, which I like about this one, is that we do have this down gap. See this gap here from there to there? I think this gap is about to get tested. And for this gap to get tested, price needs to go up all the way to this level to fill this gap. So to me, a very interesting setup. So I'm going to add this one to our watch list for today. Next one, Take-Two Interactive. For those of you receiving our newsletter, which comes out every Monday, you may have noticed that this was our trade of the week on Monday, and it's still very much valid. Basically, nothing really happened here. We're still at the same price region. Also, zone break, retrace back to the zone. Long-term uptrend. I also like this one a lot. For a long setup. And by the way, this stock, Take Interactive, that's a software company specializing on the development of video games. And for example, they have built Grand Theft Auto. For the gamers among you, I'm not a gamer, but for those of you, you will know that this is one of the most popular games worldwide. And I think they're just releasing a next generation of that game, I think in a couple of months. So Take-Two Interactive also definitely one for our watch list. All right, next one, Tencent Music Entertainment ADR. Let's check it out. All right, this one, I like it too, but here I at least have a bit of a warning sign, a yellow flag, so to say. Why is that? First of all, it's quite volatile. See these price moves there. So the trend is not as consistent and smooth as for the other ones. And also here, and don't call me obsessed, but I do see this gap here, and is a gap which potentially, and we call this out for the SPY and the QQQ as well, which potentially may get tested. Of course, if we test this gap, then this resistance level, which is now acting as support, will not hold. Prices are going to go down all the way here. And then if they do, I think we're going to see a retracement all the way to this level. So I think I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to add it to the watch list, but I think this will certainly not something which is going to be our hot tip for the next week. Maybe one more, Eaton Pharmaceuticals Inc. All right. I have a nice trend here, a bit of a nice pullback. Let me just see what happened in the past. Yeah. So we survived this major correction here. Our prices then moved up a nice V shape. We broke above resistance. Resistance is now acting as support. A nice pullback here. I also, this one, I think I really like for a long entry. So I'm going to add this one as well. And for the Germans among you, Hornbach Holding AG, also a nice long break retrace setup. I like this one a lot too because we have this big gap here, which is just screaming to get filled up there. So if you're trading out of Germany, maybe this one could be also an interesting opportunity. So let me just also add this one to our watch list. All right, Niklas, any questions so far? If not, I'm going to go through the watch list now. I'm going to find the most interesting ones for the week ahead.
Okay, Daniel. Yeah, you can continue. We just have simple requests, but we do have a comment from Shanta who said they're unable to get the 1 week free trial using the Get 50 discount. Get 50
Shanta, send me an email afterwards. Niklas, please put our email address into the chat box. Send us a note and we'll take care of that, Shanta. We'll see what's going on. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so now what we want to do is we want to go through our watch list. So this is the watch list we created, and let's see how many symbols do we have? 9. Let's see if you can narrow it down a little bit to find the most interesting ones. All right, so I'm gonna actually sort by setup here, just so we can do this in the order we went through them. First one, Eli Lilly. I mean, I like it a lot. It's always a bit risky to trade pharma stocks because they are to some degree unpredictable. Who knows what kind of medication will be approved or perhaps disproved anytime soon? Who knows what the regulation are going to be? There's been a lot of talk of forcing these companies to sell their medication for less prices and so forth. All of these can have big impacts and can lead to big swings in here. But from a technical point of view, I like this one a lot. We are long-term bullish. This is just a sideways consolidation. We are right at the key support level. You're just looking at technicals. This is a great stock to have. I'm going to add this one to our hot list for the next week. So I'm going to go to my trade notes here. Add another note with today's feature, basically the same one as we had last week. I'm going to add this setup also for today. Nice bounce setup from this level towards the upside. So this is great. Targa Resources. I already said this. This one is great. I love it. I like the liquidity capture here at support. Long-term bullish, 1,109 trading days. Let me just quickly see what these people are doing. Targa Resources owns, operates, acquires, and develops a portfolio of complementary domestic infrastructure asset in North America. Based out of Texas. All right, now we know. Okay, so I like it a lot. This is a great long entry, and as I said, this is potentially going to be our trade of the week. So absolutely a great stock to look at. I'm going to add this one as well. All right, done. SKT, Tanger Factory Outlet Centers. Yeah, this one is good too. I mean, I like it. This pullback is a bit deeper for my taste. And if I were to measure this, let me just look at the retracement level here from this low point all the way to the high point. Where are we right now? Yeah, we went below the 61.8 retracement. I would have loved to see it right at this level to stop. We're now near the 78.6% retracement, which is also a fib level. Yeah, to me, you know what? I'm gonna skip this one. We already have a couple of bounce setups. Maybe this retracement is a little bit too big for me. It's a bit too volatile what's going on here, and it's just downwards for a long time. So I'm gonna skip this one. Coca-Cola bot cons. Yeah, also an interesting one, right at this support level. But you know what? This is a personal experience thing. Sometimes when you have a scenario like this, look at this, where you have this support level here, but there's another support level not far away. Price tend to give less strength to this level, and instead we'll use this level to bounce off from. And if we are using this viewpoint, I personally would wait if we perhaps see a bounce all the way down here, and then this would be a great long opportunity. So here I'm also going to stay on the sidelines just to be patient. I think we may see another leg further down to this level. If this happens, then yeah, this would be a really nice long trade. Hornbach Holding AG. I like it. If you are trading this market, this could be a potentially yeah, a nice stock to trade, especially if this gap here, which screams to get filled. I'm not sure what happened here, why things went down so violently. It feels a little bit like catching a falling knife. Things just really just went down one direction. Um, yeah, because of this, I think I'm also gonna stay away from this one because we are basically things are just going down too wildly. Maybe it's gonna go all the way down to this level. So from this point of view, I'm gonna stay away from this one. Banco Bilbao, Argentina. I like it. A gap here, which screams to get filled. I think if you are careful, perhaps put your stop loss maybe at this level here. There's also an up gap here, which may get tested. Then I think this could be a really interesting long setup if you're willing to dabble in foreign markets a little bit. A little bit. Of course, this one I believe is still traded on the New York Stock Exchange. I'm pretty certain. But yeah, I'm going to add this one as well to our list. I like this setup a lot. Perfect. Next, Take-Two Interactive. Yes, our trade of the week, of course. We're going to stick to it. I like the setup. It's just chilling out here. Hopefully, we're going to see a bounce soon to the upside. If we do, I think we're going to exceed the all-time highs and really see a big push higher. So also this I'm going to add to our list here. What I do, basically, I'm just adding the screenshot here. I could also add annotations of what's going on. I could even dictate my my trade notes. Let me quickly show you what's happening here. Take-Two Interactive has been our trade of the week last week. The setup is still valid, and we may hopefully see a bounce to the upside soon. Of course, I was stuttering a little bit, but ideally, what? Whatever. Maybe there's something going on, but normally you can dictate your trade notes as well. All right. Talking about the live demonstration. Okay, Tencent Music Entertainment ADR. Yeah, I like it, but I don't like this up gap here, which may get tested. So I'm gonna skip this. But it's a nice long break retrace setup. But since this gap may get tested, we may see a bounce all the way to down here. So I'm gonna skip this one. And Eaton Pharmaceuticals Inc. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's another pharma one. I mean, I like it. Just a couple of big swings here. Break above resistance. Now the retracement. Yeah, I like the setup. So I'm gonna also add this one to our hot list. All right. I think we do have a nice list of stocks for the next week. Let's see what happens when the market opens. Of course, we always want to see if the market gaps open for these stocks, where is price now? Perhaps did we already make the move? Did perhaps price already break a level? But if things still check out when the market opens, I think all of these are valid trade ideas. All right, Niklas, any questions before we get to our tickers roundtable?
No, Daniel, no questions. Good to go.
Sweet. Okay, so then let me quickly remind you guys before we do the ticker roundtable that if you are, I think there's something going off my computer. It's a bit finicky. That's probably why the microphone didn't work. If you are interested in trying out our dashboard, as mentioned, 1 week completely free. And if you like it, we have interesting monthly and yearly options afterwards. Simply go to tradingindicators.com/view to test it out. And Niklas has put this link also into the chat box. All right. So with this, let's get to our ticker roundtable. What do we have?
Sure. So first from Ron, we have Visa, I believe, V.
Yep.
Symbol V. And he said based on a long break retrace that he saw on the dashboard, he went long. He closed his position yesterday for a nice profit. He would like you to take a look at it to see if you think there is still room to run and what would make you want to sell it.
I mean, if you make a nice profit, then it's always nice to ring the register. There's nothing wrong with this. How long will it run? Well, that's always a good question. If once we break above the highest resistance level. In fact, there's one more here. If you look a bit carefully, this one went out of scope at this point, but it is there. So I now would probably wait, Ron, to see if prices can also break this level, which coincides with this all-time high here. If we do, and if we can clear this level to the upside, then potentially, yeah, go long again. Maybe wait for a bit of a small pullback like here as per trend radar before entering. So I'm not a big fan of entering when things are overextended, and this might be a resistance level where things may slow down. So it's great that you exited your trade here because this was really right at this resistance level. So congratulations on this.
Perfect. Okay. And then the next symbol is from BTC, Bitcoin from Garrett.
Yeah, we had Bitcoin in the beginning, but a quick reminder, what did we say here? And don't be irritated by my beautiful drawings here. These were two bull flags I saw. And the bull flag, of course, is a very bullish pattern. And we saw these nice bullish breakouts afterwards. But let me just quickly hide those because they're not the prettiest ones. Yeah, bullish bounced off resistance, right? Bitcoin bounced off resistance right here. And you know what? It was a very bearish week for Bitcoin. We went down from like all-time highs almost all the way down to like 104,000. I personally would not be surprised if we see a retracement all the way to this first ME rush level around 100,000. It's also a nice psychological number. If we get there, I think that could be a great scaling opportunity. If you're not long yet, Bitcoin, we probably have some holdings from earlier days in Bitcoin, but maybe add something to your position if prices come down to this level here. I'm still very bullish Bitcoin. I like the fact that this correction here that we saw seems to be, I think, completed. We bounced off the support level. I personally don't think we're going to get all the way down there again. Prices will go higher to the upside. When we'll see this, this was a huge move up and very fast progression. A retracement now, a correction is not unheard of course, after such a fast move up. I think it might stop at this $100,000 level, and then we'll see another push higher. That's my take on Bitcoin.
Thanks, Daniel. And the next symbol is going to be Pepsi,
Yeah,
I believe.
PepsiCo.
And we have a comment from Rolando. So thanks for the info. He was just correcting that stock BBVA that we saw had Argentina in the name, but it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
headquartered in Spain and it has nothing to do with Argentina.
Okay, well, thanks for this. Yeah, perfect. So, as you see, I'm a pure technician. As you see, I don't even sometimes look at the name of the company involved. And this is also for swing trading, not for longer term investment. Keep the time horizon of 2 to 20 weeks. So sometimes you don't even need to know what this company does. Of course, it's nice to do. And of course, you want to do your due diligence, but yeah, as you can see here, technicals is all that matters mostly for us. Okay, so Pepsi, yeah, we turned bearish. You can see it here, 137 trading days ago. We broke below support. The support held a couple of times, but then we eventually broke through it. Now we're below support. Yeah, it looks pretty bearish to me. If we see a retracement potentially to this level, I would consider put options for another leg further down. Now this reminds me of this setup here. Look at this. We break support, go down, we come up again, and then you short the stock. So if this happens, we come up again, I would potentially consider put option at that point, which definitely will be cheaper, and bet on the fact that we see another leg further down.
Thanks, Daniel. Could you please look at Amphenol? I think the symbol's APH.
APH. Oh, what does this stock do? Let me just quickly see. Designs, manufactures, and markets electrical, electronic, and fiber optic connectors. All right. Okay. Let's check it out. Long break, bullish for 636 trading days. Nice. Beautiful break above resistance here. And this is exactly the follow through that we always want to see. Yeah, looks definitely very bullish. Two smaller things why I think we may see a retracement. Of course, we are very extended, like how far we are away from our averages. And we do have a couple of gaps here. Up gap here, even this was a pretty big up gap. A gap here, also a gap here. Yeah, if we see this retracement, I think it's probably going to happen in the shorter term future. Then maybe a nice opportunity to enter long here. But yeah, definitely a nice long bullish stock.
Thank you, Daniel. And the next symbol is 2GB, 2G
Yeah,
Energy
I
AG.
think, oh, there we go. Another German stock. Yeah, looks like a zone break retrace in progress. Yeah, as you can see it here. We broke above resistance, went up, retraced back down with this nice gap here, which was not filled here. This down gap, you can see prices wicked up a little bit, but didn't fill the gap all the way to the body of this candle. So this is still in play. And yeah, could be an interesting long trade. Of course, I'm going to see where we're coming from in this particular stock. We scroll back a little bit. It was sideways for a long, long time here, grinding downwards. Now the break above. And yeah, I think this could be an interesting long opportunity, potentially. But just keep in mind that this uptrend is not too established yet. It only started at 81 trading days ago. So there are stocks which have been bullish for much, much longer than this.
Thanks, Daniel. And the next one is Pony, Pony.
All right. Pony. What is this stock? Let me just go to Trading View to check it out. 1 second. Pony. Oh yeah, we did have this. I remember this one when we discussed our options webinar. And this is a 5 minute time frame, but just look how beautiful these levels have held up and how valuable knowing about liquidity captures would have been on this day trading time frame. Wow, that's really cool. So yeah, these indicators, they work for day trading just as well. But let me go to our daily time frame here because we are in fact interested in the swing trades. So daily, let's check it out. Yeah, I think we discussed it, was it last week or so? It's just not enough price information here to make a real good call for the longer term trends. So here I would stay with day trading. Look how beautiful this worked. I can't say much about swing trading because we don't have enough price information. But we are right at the zone of control of volume IQ, but I would not make a call at this point for this one.
Thanks, Daniel. And the next one is STNE, like stone with no O. And then Aubrey writes, not sure why it's not showing bullish on the Liquidity IQ dashboard or Liquidity View based on recent history, but there is a tier 2 on volume IQ.
Okay.
And
Yeah. It could be. So yeah, it prints bearish here, and this shows you that we have designed this trend indicator, which puts these bullish and bearish flags onto the chart to work as conservatively as humanly, in quotes, of course, possible. Meaning that this indicator will stick to a trend direction for as long as it can. And only when there are clear signs that, hey, we are seeing a reversal, a complete reversal, then it will change its mind. So this is why we are still bearish here, because it's a very conservative indicator. And we are also near this resistance level. So maybe we're going to see a nice bounce off this level towards the downside. I think it's definitely a possibility. So this level is no joke. Prices bounced off there a few times. And we have another resistance level right up here, right above higher. So basically two resistance levels next to each other, which may act as a bouncing board for prices to go towards the middle in between resistance and support.
thanks. And I think for Aubrey, the big signal was from actually volume IQ, which apparently it just crossed the tier 2 on the daily. Okay, the next symbol is AT&T.
Yeah, and we did Afanol, Garrett. Don't maybe watch the
Yeah,
recording.
he had wrote it after
Okay.
He'd reminded me.
Okay. All right, it's good. AT&T, there we go. Ticker symbol T, bullish for 291 trading days. I look at this beautiful uptrend. Wow, I really like it. Looks really bullish to me. Would I go in right now? Here I would definitely wait. This is a great symbol. Just looking at this trend, what we're in right now, to wait for a level 4 pullback. You can see it here in trend radar. These are happening every once in a while, every couple of weeks. Wait for it and then enter into the long trend. And also make sure that you still have enough room towards this resistance level here, or perhaps you already cleared this level when this pullback happens. But yeah, nice bullish stock. I like it.
Thanks, Daniel. Can you go to General Electric, please?
Yeah.
GE.
GE. Where do we have it? Just type it in. General Electric. There we go. Bullish for 585 trading days. All right, we are on a long break. We broke above resistance here 13 days ago. You can see it here. Yeah, looks great, but also here I would wait for a pullback. So tree extended for my taste, but yeah, it looks like a very nice bullish stock. I like it. But I personally would not enter right now. These pullbacks, they are happening, and when they happen, then you want to enter. So be patient for this one. My take on that.
Can we please see DXY or a dollar index equivalent?
Do we have that? I believe no, we don't have this one on this. This is a data problem that we had, but let me just go to DXY here on Trading View. Yeah, dollar index, dollar has been rangy, from all the way from 110 to the 100 level here, even a bit lower. And okay, what do we see here? Yeah, we're right at the support level. The trend turned to bearish. It depends. If we can hold this level, I think we may see a bounce, but if we break it, look at what's below. There's not much there, so we may see another bounce further down. I personally, would not trade or put trades based on these levels. I think currencies are inherently circular. It's just part of their nature. I prefer trading things which are directional in nature, which is stocks, for example. So yeah, not much. I don't really have a take on this one. Besides that, we are at this key support level. The trend has changed to bearish, but we may as well see a bounce off support here towards the upside.
Thank you. And the next one is Dell.
Yes. Oh, let me actually go back to the dashboard for this one. Yeah, Dell is turned bearish. We can see it here, 80 trading days ago, and we're approaching resistance here. Somebody told me that Dell is dabbling also now in the AI space or has acquired a company in that space, which may prepare them back up because I believe it has been a very bullish stock in the past. You can see it here. Trend direction has changed to bearish. Would I go short now? Maybe, even though I don't really like to short stocks too much. I think over time they will go up. Would I go long now? Definitely not. We are right at this resistance level, so I at least would wait until price clears this level. So I would rather be short biased, potentially a put option if you want to speculate a little bit that we are bouncing off this level here, this resistance level to the downside. Yeah, is I think a possibility here.
Thank you. And the last two, I think, or we do have some others, but we have VLRS.
Controladora Vuela. Sounds also Spanish to me. What is this? This is also Argentina, isn't it? Oh, Mexico City. Okay. Uh, is this from the person who said he was calling in from Mexico City? I'm not sure. All right. What do we see here? Bearish for 436 trading days. All right. Okay, let's check this one out. Where are we coming from? I guess from much, much higher than the current level. Now, bearish here, then grinding downwards. We broke, it's actually an interesting one. We broke below support at this level here, broke below support, and then coming up to this level again. If this stock is optionable, let me actually see if we have an optionable or liquid options chain here. No, we don't. Yeah, I mean, it's not something I would do, but if I would do something, it would be to the bearish side for this stock, because this is our classic zone break retrace setup to the downside. Support is broken, but it's come back up one more time before the real move downwards happened. But this stock is not optionable. I would not dabble with that risk and short the stock. Tesla. Yeah.
Yep, Tesla. And then we have a question from Dage. Just checking before they subscribe for the 7-day trial.
Yeah.
The dashboard works for FX, commodity, and indices, but they see emphasis on stocks here. Yes, it does work we do have commodities and indices, correct, Daniel, and FX?
Yeah, I'm going to check out some right after. I'll give you a quick demo for that one.
Perfect.
All right.
And Dej also wrote for 5-minute and 15-minute trading. So no, this is for daily time frame and swing trading focus.
It is, but what you can do, we do have the option to. So the scanner is definitely for swing trading, and the scan results will be based on the daily time frame. That stands the way it is. But what you can do is you can switch to live mode here, because the market is closed right now for Tesla. But let me go to Bitcoin real quick, BTC, just to show you what I mean. You can go here. Bitcoin is right here at 104, and then you can switch to live mode. This is the close price from yesterday, the daily close. But then you can go to live mode here, and you can see actually what's going on right now. And this is a live chart. You can see prices actually changing. You can go to different time frames here. You can zoom in. And the only limitation with this live mode is that we cannot have our custom indicators on it. That's a limitation enforced to us by TradingView. But yeah, you can definitely still zoom in, see what happened by going to this live mode chart here to get live data. All right. Okay, where were we? Tesla. Okay, yeah. I digress too often. Now I should stay more focused. Okay, so Tesla had a beautiful bounce off this key support level. Look how beautiful that was. We see the liquidity captures coming in Tesla here. Beautiful bounce off it a couple of times. Then now the push higher. We broke above this resistance level, which is not acting as support. And yeah, I think Tesla is on the verge to go further up. I would love to see it come down perhaps a little bit closer to this level, maybe back to the 300 one. And then I think this could be an interesting opportunity to scale into a Tesla position in the anticipation that, hey, we're going to see another leg further up. I think, things are put in place in Tesla as well to be a little bit less often in the news, or at least the negative news. Of course, Musk leaving now the White House as from his consulting job, focusing more, I believe, on his businesses. And I think this can only mean good things for Tesla. So Yeah, I still think it's a great company. It's not necessarily considered a car company. I heard that their car sales are tanking, but they are dabbling in so many other technologies, AI technologies, Androids, and so forth. That there's definitely potential in this company. If you believe in these technologies, I think then this all-time high here from December may not be the end of it. And then, of course, now could be an interesting opportunity, especially if you see a bit of a deeper pullback to enter into this into a long position in Tesla from a strategic point of view.
Thank you, Daniel. And the next symbol is Dropbox, DBX.
Yeah, and before we do this real quick, I wanted to not forget that we do have FX and cryptos and all these things in the dashboard. Let me just go to the asset class filter here. You're right, it's mostly stocks, but we also have cryptos, all these different cryptocurrencies here. Bitcoin Cash, Binance, Dash, whatever, all these cryptos, and also FX. So I'm gonna go here to FX. Oops, not this one. One second. FX here, so all the major crosses in FX we have as well. Actually, one I really liked, we looked at this one quite a few times. Swiss franc, Japanese yen, a very long-term bullish. It's very rare for currencies. It's of course not consolidating, but this one, if you go back, you can see this stock, or this pair, this currency pair, has been on the bullish tear for 1,659 trading days. That's crazy. That's a really, really long time for a currency to be only in one direction. Let me see if that's the longest one we have. Yeah, that's the longest one. Then we have some other ones, all related to the Japanese yen, I guess, which lost a lot of value in recent history. All right, what's next, Nicholas? Sorry for that.
DBX,
I,
Dropbox.
I digress. Okay, DBX. All right. Oops. Dropbox is in a magnet zone. What is a magnet zone? It means it's pretty much right in the middle, in between support and resistance. All right. We are bullish for 139 trading days. So the trend has shifted here. Yeah, it's an interesting one. So yeah, we are right in there. We have this nice little up gap here. So yeah, it would have been, of course, a beautiful opportunity to enter around here, but this is too late. So I still think that this is a nice long play because this gap here just screams at me to get filled to the upside. So long here or around these levels, but on the fact that we're going to get all the way up to like 30, maybe 32, which coincides with this resistance level, and then close out the trade. Now this could be an interesting one, but maybe wait for a bit of a more pullback to get a better entry price.
Thanks, Daniel. The next one is Cisco.
Yeah. All right. Cisco Systems bullish for 171 trading days. Yeah. Let me just see where we're coming from. Here you can see the bull label. Yeah, prices are grinding upwards. We are, however, approaching now. You can see it here, this resistance level from where we might bounce off from to the downside. So would I go long now? Probably not. We also have this up gap here, which may get close to the downside. So here I would wait potentially also for prices to come down a little bit further and then consider a long trade.
Thank you. And the next one is CRWV.
Yeah. CrowdStrike. CRW D.
V.
Oh, V. Okay, let me go to Trading View for this one. CRWV. CoreWeave Inc. Yeah, same thing here. These stocks where we have very little history, I cannot evaluate because we don't see much, or at least not from a swing trading point of view. If you go to day trading, let's have a look. What do we see here? Yeah, it's a bit all over the place. Something I personally would not trade. We are bearish. We had a zone break here, a retracement, and a little bit of a move down, another retracement up. So if anything, I potentially would look at this from a bearish point of view, from a day trading point of view, of course, to potentially look for another leg further down. Yeah, hard to evaluate.
Thank you. And finally, just check where we were, is LNTH.
LNTH. Okay. Lantheus Holdings.
Yeah.
We just turned bearish. That's a cool one. Friday. So this stock turned bearish. You can see the bear flag here. There's no number next to this arrow, meaning we just turned bearish. There's no duration for this trend yet. Oh, this is yeah, not a stock I would consider tradable for me. It's too all over the place. This looks almost like a sideways move. Of course, if you want to potentially gamble a bit and play the fact, hey, we may bounce off the support level, even though we just turned bearish, and bounce towards the middle in between support and resistance, and perhaps fill this gap here at the same time. That could be the play, but it probably would not be something for me. Maybe with options, if the options are relatively cheap. They might be because volatility seems to be quite low lately. You can see how small these bars are. Maybe some out of the money options as a little speculative trade in the anticipation that, hey, we may fill this gap and price may all the way go up to 104. Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, with an options trade, I could see how this could become interesting if and only if the option setup would be very affordable.
Thank you, Daniel. And the next symbol would be Costco. And at the same time, we have a question. Would you be able to show a day trading scan if time persists?
A day trading scan, no, because we this is for swing trading, so we don't have day trading scans set up. This would be for one of our other platforms, Motive Wave or Ninja Trader, which we typically look at on Tuesdays during our lunch and learn sessions. So maybe wait for that. All right, Costco. Okay, that looks great. Look at this beautiful gap that we had here at this point. This was drawn before, so we had this line before. And I think what we did, let me actually quickly see what happened with Costco, because I know we've discussed Costco quite a few times. Let me see when I annotated this chart. Okay, what about before this? Let me just go one back. I guess it was similar to this level. Maybe not. Anyways, yeah, beautiful gap here. So we went all the way down to the support level, bounced up from it, and now we are nearing our resistance level here. I mean, I would not enter right now. I would wait for this level to be cleared, for sure. But overall, Costco is such an intensely bullish stock. In fact, Emmy Rush doesn't even have a reading on it because it has only gone upwards since we are tracking it. So it's super, super bullish. And this, of course, here could have been a great opportunity to enter long Costco, but it's a really bullish stock. And even now, maybe wait for a bit of a retracement. I would not mind having Costco in my portfolio because it's just so bullish overall.
Definitely. Okay. And then the last symbol that seems to come in is Philip Morris from Gerd.
Yeah.
And John says,
Okay.
thank you for all of the symbol reviews.
Yeah. Philip Morris. What do we have? Long break for 29 days. Yeah, very extended. We broke above resistance here. And I know we had it on our radar at this point. We wanted to wait for it to retrace a little bit. Actually, it came down here. Look at this. I wonder why we didn't pick it up. Yeah, this would have been a great zone break retrace setup. Let me just, if you have a quick look here, what our play was. Yeah, we wanted to enter here. Actually, prices came down to this level to I guess 163 around. Let me see, where did we go down to? Yeah, look at this. This could have been a great entry. I think I missed it. And then this move upwards. Beautiful. This is textbook zone break retrace. This is exactly what we are striving for when we're looking for the setup. Now entering long, no. If you're long now, enjoy the ride, as the option professor would say. Congratulations. I would not now I would not enter. We are too extended. I would wait for another pullback, like a level 2 or 3 pullback on trend radar. Can see it here. We can scan for it and then enter into this beautiful uptrend of Philip Morris. Great. All right. So let me switch back to my charts one more time. A quick reminder, if you have not downloaded the ebook yet, go to tradingindicators.com/power-of-3. The link is in the chat to get your free copy. And of course, if you want to try out our beautiful dashboard, I go to tradingindicators.com/view. We have big plans with this dashboard. Just a quick outlook. We are planning to integrate a beautiful gap indicator. You see how many times I reference gaps and hey, there's an up gap or down gap which may get tested. This is something we're gonna looking at adding into it, along with statistics as to how often, historically speaking, for a particular symbol, these gaps have been filled or not filled, and giving you some extra confirmation. And then we're also going to be looking at seasonality, something that it's going to come up next, and which month or years, or maybe not years, but seasons a stock tends to go up or perhaps go down. Also, I think very valuable information. All this is to come soon, or will be there soon for our dashboard. All right. With this, guys, I wish you all a great weekend. Check out the bootcamp. The link is in the chat and our Discord as well. And if there were any questions which we forgot to cover, then you can always reach out to us via our homepage, tradingindicators.com. Go to the main menu, click on contact, put your question into the contact form. It will go straight to my inbox, and I'll make sure to get back to every single question personally. It may just take sometimes a day or two. With this, guys, trade safe, have a nice weekend, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks, Niklas.